You are warmly welcome back. We had a technical challenge. That's why we went out. So you are welcome back. The fear of God. Beloveds, without the fear of God, how do you imagine life without the fear of God? And this in Genesis chapter 6, verse 5 and 7, we saw in the beginning where there was no fear of God after creation. When the Bible said man began to propagate and the fear of God was lost in the heart of man. And then, beloved, come with me to Genesis chapter 6, verse 5. And it said, and it reads, and Jehovah saw that the wickedness of man was great on earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts and heart of man was evil continually. And God regretted, and God said he regretted in creating man on earth. And it behooved God, and God was grieved in the heart for creating man. Amen. You see, this is a very certain for God himself to get regretted, to be regretted for creating man. The first time God said he regrets was when man began not to fear him anymore, and man began to indulge himself into deep sin. And as I earlier on said, the fear of man is the fear of sin, and the fear of evil is also the fear of God. So if you don't fear God, you don't fear evil, you don't fear sin. And this is what happened. This is what happened in the first century. In the first century, when man became so engulfed with sin, and the Bible said every imagination of man was evil. It means the fear of God was lost in the heart of man, in the heart and minds of man on earth. And when they say man here, it's generic. It's both women, including men, including children, including adults. And so the Bible said, and this thing, what happened was that because the lack of fear of God, it brings vengeance. So what happened was that God flashed away the dispensation. In verse 7, he said, and Jehovah God said, I will destroy man, whom I have created from the face of the ground, both man and beast, and creeping things, and birds of the heaven. And for it repented and regretted unto me, God, to have created man. Amen. You see, brothers and sisters, in these scenarios, it tells us that the moment there's no fear of God, sin propagate, sins multiply. And when sin multiply, the vengeance of God is the next thing to happen. And that's why God brought the flood, and it wiped out man from the surface of the earth. We all know what happened, and it all because the causes of the flood to come and devour man was because man did not fear God, and it reflected in his continuous sinning and sinning. So what do we see today? Today we can still see that the fear of God is lost completely. No one seems to fear God these days in our time. And that's why in the book of Acts chapter 2 verse 40, it said this dispensation is crooked and perverse, a broken generation.